Hey everybody, I'm back with a new video, but more importantly, the Mutant Epoch is back with the expansion rules. This has been in the works for 7 years and it's been delayed multiple times, but it's finally out and you can pick up this print as of this video right now on Amazon. You can get the PDF on DriveThruRPG and it will come to print on demand on DriveThruRPG in the future in softback and hardback. So it is a huge book and it's got a ton of options for your game. So let's go over to the green table. We're going to see how this stacks up against the hub rules, and you'll see how big this book actually is. So let's go take a look. All right, look at the size difference here. Here we've got the hub rules for the Mutant Epoch, right? And then look, this is the expansion rules. Oh my God, that is massive. So yeah, there it is. I wanted to show you kind of a comparison to see what you're getting. So just double check and make sure it's still in frame good. Whenever I move stuff around, stuff kind of gets in frame with my setup here. But okay, so right off the bat, awesome art, of course. It's William McCausland, so great art. And I'm gonna flip it around on the back here. It says it requires the Mutant Epoch Hub, the RPG Hub rules book, of course. This is expansion, and it should be called like Mega Expansion. It is so much more than what I thought it was going to be. 12 new player character types, 35 new bestial humans, 100 new prime mutations, 42 minor, 36 flaws, 8 NPC-only deviations, and the long-awaited Plantoid veggie sapien character type. And they've got 71 prime Plantoid mutations and 20 flaws all their own. There are 2 new character outfitting systems, rules for cybernetic purchasing and sales, healing times for broken bones, the effects of radiation on robots and androids, extensive tables, character sheets, and much more. And that much more should be like big and underlined. There is so much in this book. Now, it's not a book that you have to get. But this is the thing about the Mutant Epoch, I feel like saying here. This is a game that if you enjoy it and you really get into it, this book is 100% for you. It's absolutely for you. And I think any fan of the Mutant Epoch, there's no way that they would be like, I'm not going to get the expansion rules. This thing has been way delayed by many years. There has been just a massive amount of work. It says over a dozen contributing authors involved in it. I have some stuff that's in it as well, and I'm going to be as impartial as I can about this book. Even though I have written for Will, and I'm friends with him, and I've got some stuff in this book, not as much as other guys. Other guys really did a lot of great work in this, but a lot of this is him. And that's really what I want to tell people that maybe don't know about the Mutant Epoch. This is a guy who is just very passionate, and he works a ton. When you think about what you could be doing and how you can be applying yourself more to anything that you're about, what you enjoy doing, your hobbies, he has, whatever he's got in him, he needs to like sell it, mass produce it, sell it out there to the masses to get that drive that he has to be able to create so much stuff. He already did that. This has got a ton of stuff in it, okay? And this book here, the Crossroads Region Guide, the Gazetteer, this thing, William said, almost killed him just to create this. I haven't really talked much about this book. This is a huge section of his setting that he created here with all his art and everything involved in it. Massive book, but this thing here, the expansion rules, just goes even beyond. And granted, this he did have some help, but most of this is him. So a lot of what I'm going to be talking about, of course, I'm going to be hitting a lot of the main stuff that's in it. I can't do a video about everything because this video would be hours and hours long. So I'm going to try to get it as tight as possible. We'll be flipping through some sections. Let's take a look. It has, and it says it right there, it has 1,225 plus illustrations, and they're all done by him. That's right, 1,225 illustrations. So I just, I look at this, it's just like, man, what am I doing? Like the drive that he has to create for this game is just amazing. So let's go ahead and go through it. There's all the people that worked on it, and I was very happy to see my name there. I didn't do a whole bunch with this. I don't have as many, like I said before, I don't have as many entries as other people did, but I love his art. His art was the very first thing that really drew me to the Mutant Epoch way back when I first picked it up, and it made me reach out to him, and I'm just very, very impressed. Now, the thing about his art is this, like this little thing right here. He does such a good job, even at smaller, because a lot of these pieces of art are small, but they're small, but they're active. They have action in them. You can see them almost, and I do. I see them practically come alive with the poses, the different powers that are going off, the way he draws, the way that he's able to get everything in there. I love the way he does debris in his art. He has a very unique vision of the way that his art is for the Mutant Epoch. So I just want to let you know, this book has been very much delayed. And he says here, delayed by plague, inability to stay away from 3 other books, and this, which was very detrimental to him, and scary, was a full retinal detachment in his right eye. And he had surgeries afterwards that set him back as well. That was a huge thing about the book. This source book has been a long time coming. Over the last 7 years, I doubted I could complete the XR book, the expansion rules book. That it was too vast, too complex, and that the illustration count of 1,225 interior images alone would break me. So still I pressed on, encouraged by the Epochian community, both online and in person, as well as my family. And here it is. It's finally done. And boy, was I not expecting what this book has to offer. So the main word for this, it's not only just the expansion rules. This is options. Massive, massive options for your game that just blow it up huge. Now, the thing is, I really can't, if you don't know about the Mutant Epoch and you haven't seen my video, you haven't looked at anything about it, I would tell you to go watch my original video. I'll have a link probably in the back, and go look at other people's videos about the Mutant Epoch. The system is an older, I would say old school system. It uses 2D10. It's much different than most games that are out there. And he has kind of chiseled out a fandom that just absolutely love this game through and through. And they believe, and I believe, that it is one of the best post-apocalyptic games to be ever made. This book right here is not only a huge achievement for post-apocalyptic games, but just role-playing games, in my opinion, in general. The scope of it, the fact that he did do most of the work in it, all the art that's in it, it's really unparalleled what he's able to do with this game. And the options that you have now with this book, even though it's not, you don't have to have this book, this book and this video that you're now watching is for fans of the Mutant Epoch. That's just all there is to it. It doubles down on what the Mutant Epoch is about. It just concentrates it and says, if you like the Mutant Epoch and everything that it's able to provide for you, here's not only more of it, but it's just more powerful. It's more optional. It didn't try to make it not something that it is. Maybe a book that comes out that tries to like make things easier or tries to do some balance. No, it just says, you know what? I am doubling and tripling down on what the Mutant Epoch is. So if you never heard about the Mutant Epoch and you're watching this video, take a look and you'll see, I think, what it is that makes this game so different. So here's some of his fantastic art. And you can see it's very active. And it's very William McCausland. So we've got new character types. And you can roll these up. And one thing I really like, he's got beginner, experienced player, and master player. So it makes you have a bigger, wider chance to play some of the more complex characters. And then the beginning player ones, it kind of cuts some off, like the Digital Being, one of the new ones, or the Vat-Brain, which I particularly really enjoy. So these right here are going to be the expansion rules character types, and these are going to be the hub rules. Now, you can think of these kind of as races, if you wish, or species. So look at all the choices you already have right there. And that right there is beyond many, many games that are out there. He kind of revisits the character traits, so you know what they are like, and then he gives you a couple systems to rolling up your traits, and there's even a point-by system. And then we've got some new character histories by cast, so again, some great art. And he does do some smaller art, but they're all very, very action-based, I would say. So here is rolling up different pre-game casts, what your character did before, based off of the new type of character types, and this is the hub rule character types as well. So he's giving you a lot of the tables kind of together that were in the hub rules. That way you don't, you don't always have to split over when you're making these rolls to the hub rules. They've got it. He's done it here again for you, and it'll reference the book of where they're at. So that's very helpful. So a lot of tables, and you think of it. I'm looking at this. I'm like, my goodness, how did you come up with these numbers and keeping track of this? This right here, like the cast-based details for the different, like the bonuses you get for your different, your traits or your automatic skills or your outfitting code, your appearance, deciding that this is going to give you a +6 or plus 2d6 or whatever. That right there is already, is very thorough. Starting skills. And then we've got the expanded cast descriptions: bounty hunter, animal herder, bunker dweller. I'm going to be doing a lot of that. I'm going to be doing a bunch of listing stuff off. But just right here, look at this art. A lot of his art kind of reminds me a little bit, and I've taught him about this before, it almost reminds me of like Mad Magazine. It's small sometimes, but it's able to pack in so much. It looks very busy, but not to the point where you can't really make out what it is. Quite the opposite. It's done so well that it just really stands out as being something that's active. It's in motion. Guys are shooting guns. Guys are doing what they're doing. They're coming up out of this hole here, and this caravan is going over this hill. And I just love the way that he does debris. He has such a great vision of the way that his art works with his setting, and it's like that in pretty much every piece of art. They're always stepping on some piece of debris or something like that. Here's a hooker. This is an adult game, once again, for my original video. This is an adult game with some adult themes in it. Nothing too over the top, but it definitely is based in kind of our world in the future with crazy gonzo stuff. Cultish, fuel keeper, a healer, hooch brewer. I like that one in particular. And then we've got stuff like a junk doctor, repairer, teacher, a wastrel, wastelander. A lot of different choices for your characters. And they're going to break down stuff like starting age and their swimming ability, kind of the stuff we had in the hub rules, just kind of redone again for you, so that's pretty helpful. Languages and their height and weight, so that's good. Breaking down, like here's some of the new ones, some of the new character types. And then we've got the rank advancement revisited, kind of showing you stuff again about how when you go up in rank and your bonuses that you get based off of your different type of new character type that you have that you're playing in this book. And look at that, expanded character types. And this is where it blows up. This is where it goes. And I've got to say, it's like you think about what you put into something. I know I kind of said this earlier, and it's like he just kept on going. He just kept on working on it. And he kept on giving you stuff. And he's known for his tables, like D100 tables and stuff like that. And I know I said this in one of my other videos. I did a couple of D100 tables, and they were very difficult to do. You really start to bog down after about 30 or 40. You start to have to really think about it, and then it just gets more and more challenging. But he's got all these tables. So here's an Abomination. They are miscreations, mutant miscreations, who were designated with alphanumeric identities, a mix of manufacturer's code, batch number, purpose, and quality, and were initially mindless, group-thinking, slavish followers of a collective. So they are just exactly what their name is. Huge abominations with prime mutations, very powerful, just real freaks. I mean, right here, 1d2 flaw mutations, 1d3 minor mutations, and 1d4 plus 2 prime mutations. They are just mutant just turned up to an 11. And you're going to roll here like what's their sensory organs. You've got their traits, of course. And then here's touch sense. So it's not, and then he gives you these. I mean, look at this: whiskers, feelers, retractable tentacle, and he gives you all this information. He fleshes everything out. And the writers that worked on this, you want to mimic what Williams done, and they did that as well. What is their body structure like? And this is one of the first things that shows you something that he's done that puts it, in my opinion, above other mutant like post-apocalyptic games. Is he's shown you, because he's able to draw and write, he's so gifted in that sense. And for me, there's a jealousy thing there where I'm like, you're able to draw exactly what it is that you want to let the reader know and to see, to put in their head what it is. So each one of these different types of body structures for the Abomination, he's given you a little drawing of it. And he's done that several times throughout the book, and it's invaluable. As a person who loves post-apocalyptic games and those out there, that's what makes this game and his devotion to it so special, in my opinion. So like slug-like, you can see it's got like an elongated body. You've got pylon-shaped, it looks like this. Star-shaped. It's a little bit more it's so great to have that as a reference, especially for new people that don't really understand what their character might look like, body size and shape is. You can point to it and be like, look, there you go, your triangle wedge. And this is the way it is. Like, this is your height and your weight and stuff. It does use the metric system. So here's some appendages. It's going to tell you about more of like the locomotion. You can roll that up. Maybe it's baby legs or animal legs. Mass of 10 plus D12 slippery eel-like tentacles. There's just tons of claws, tentacles, feelers, just weird sores, and mutants just absolutely are horrors in the Mutant Epoch, and that's one thing I really like about it. Here's additional abomination details. Maybe multiple human heads, or skin features. Maybe they're covered in fur, or acid-resistant layer. Maybe they've got extra organs, and that's really what it is. It's that saying right that I just said. Maybe they have this, and maybe they have that, and he's given you that, and these great tables to roll those things on. And then there's origins for them. Examples. You roll 2d6 here. Maybe your mother was an abomination, who dropped the PC as she fled from purists, who tortured and impaled her as this small globular specimen looked on. Discovered by a dig team and saved, the young blobber grew to adulthood, worked for a few silvers per month, and always dreamed of being an excavator too and doing great deeds of kindness, except to pure stock humans, which it distrusts. So great way to kind of build up a little bit of a history about this terrible abomination. And then we've got androids. So now you can play an android. And each one of these sections, you can tell we're like, as if going in at a focus of, I'm working on androids, and then I'm just going to do everything I need to flesh them out, and I'll just put those together, and then I'll push the next section together with it. So that's why it's got the page count that it does. That's why it's so thorough in everything that it has. So easy to create unique android characters. You're going to roll up all these things here. The gender pattern, its original purpose, which may change some of its stats. Again, I can point out all this art, and certain pieces I really like, but his style is fantastic. I really enjoy it. Here's the android's original job and purpose, kind of in essence. So you're just going to change their stats in that way. And maybe it was a beauty spa attendant android, or a clerical android, or a criminal construct android. And you're just going to roll up skills. You're going to have bonus skills for androids, and then it keeps going. More and more of these kind of backgrounds, what they were used for, retail or high school teacher, barista, and it keeps on going. And then we have more of these like industrial android benefits. You're rolling these up, roll D100 3 times, and you're gonna need the hub rules as well, for some of the older skills. But you've got each one of these tables written up for each different type of background that android was, and we're still moving here. And we keep on going. So that's what a lot of this book is. It doesn't stop. And it's going to stay stuff like that. This is what you've got here, like the Space Force military android. It's got a laser carbine arm, or an atmospheric reentry capable android. What is its skeleton composition made out of? Is it plastic? Is it aluminum? Is it stainless steel or alloy steel? Then you've got tissue sheathing. Is it shredded plastic or flesh-like heated gelatin? And what that does for your character. So you're going to go step by step. That's what a lot of these new characters are, these character types, is step by step creating this character. And then, so it's like, not only did he tell you, like, you can read this and say, okay, it's shredded plastic and these are the bonuses. Swell. Then you go here and you go, oh, well, here's the whole description about it. He doesn't leave stuff hanging. He doesn't shortcut stuff. He blows it up and gives you an explanation of exactly what that means with, like the flesh-like heated gelatin. What does that do for your android? What type of healing mode does it have? What ifs? That's what a lot of this book is. What if? CPU with android's head. A lot of different options within these character types. What type of power supply? Sensory capabilities of unique androids. And we're still going. Android age appearance. Is it a young or a middle-aged looking android? What's its manufacturing date? What does its hair look like? The color and the type. Special features it may have. And then here's a whole bunch of them here written up. A D100 list. Now, granted, it's not 100 entries, but a lot of good tables. He's known for the tables, and he definitely delivers here. Here's unique Android pregame casts. Very good. Going to give you some stuff you can roll those up on. androids and cybernetic implants. How do those work together? And then we've got Bestial Humans Set Two. So we had Set One before in the hub rules, and now we've got even more of them. And several of these, like this one, The Bad, is written by Colin Chapman. He did a lot of these, which is fantastic. You can see, and this is one of the things that I've always wanted in post-apocalyptic games. You usually give me a table of animals, right? And I know what a goat is. So what would a goat bestial human look like? In a lot of other games, you just kind of have to use your imagination. Well, that's what it would look like. He drew every single one of these: gorilla, grasshopper, fly, duck, chameleon, chicken. So if you're a new player or you've just never seen the way that maybe a grasshopper bestial human would be, or in another mutant, post-apocalyptic game, what that would look like, this is what it might kind of look like. Or what does a monkey look like, or an owl, or a porcupine? Some more of the stranger creatures, like here's a hummingbird and its stats. So this just really blows up that whole bestial human element that is found in many other post-apocalyptic games. But now you've got art to go alongside it. Skunk, squirrel, vulture, woodpecker, weasel, shrew. It's fantastic. I've always wanted that, because there's been some games I've played where I'm like, I don't really have that piece of art. And you're looking at bigger piece of art and be like, that's an owl, I think. But now you've got it. Fantastic. So here's one of the newer, kind of out there. This is a digital being. So it's a digital being. It's a single point of consciousness and derived either from an artificial intelligence or a downloaded human mind from a deceased person, usually an ancient one. And it shows you here how they are and how they work. They've got different traits. They have different combat, hacking, and firewalls. This is more of the more advanced type characters to play, dealing with like hacks, hacking stuff, their attacks and fumbles and things like that. So this is really kind of getting out there of something I've never seen before in a post-apocalyptic a game of this type. Handheld holo projections, like that's it. It's Cortana from Halo. That's what this is. You can play a character like that. And how you manifest. You may be, in a wristwatch projector or a laptop computer. It's really, really interesting and something that's new. It's something to kind of dive into. And again, if you don't want digital beings in your game, then you don't have to use them. Again, it's options for you. Here's the different types. Look at this. It's exhaustive. I would love to know the word count on this, because it's absolutely massive. Random identity and persona of a digital being. Hostess at a posh restaurant. A Marine drill sergeant. A Catholic priest. A lawyer in a suit. Samurai warrior or Aztec warrior. Caveman or cavewoman. Really, really neat. This guy should be familiar to many of us. You should know who that's supposed to be. And it's going to have everything else. The skills, the cast. There's certain apps they use. So it says all digital beings can perform basic tasks either in holographic form, reduced down into their container, or through a controlled cyborg or mechanical body. And so you have these things they can do, these apps. And in essence, they're kind of powers that they have. Data shred or EMP pulse, power surge or projected hack, secondary firewall or a shield generator. This makes it easy. And this is great examples. I don't even know who this guy is. Great examples here of just this very small piece of art, but it's got that well-known William McCausland Mutant Epoch type of debris, rebar, and concrete, and grass, and then you've got action. This creature's this hiding from it right here. It's kind of coming around the corner. It's all very active in his art, and it's great. Here's a grafter. So grafters are former humans who've been injected with rare compounds which permit the acceptance of transplanted limbs, organs, or additional heads from other people and beasts. Very, very neat. So you can see here, it's a different take on the mutant character in essence. So they used to be humans, and now they can add on body parts. You can see here's some great examples here of some subordinate heads. It's going to have, your leg replacement, your arm replacement. What is it kind of like? What type of head it may be. It could be a house cat, could be a wolf, could be a cougar. Human head matrix here. Maybe it's a child's head or a teenager's head. I mean, every single aspect of it that could possibly be, most of it is here. And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm so amazed by. Here's different extra appendages and organ augmentation matrix. So maybe you've got animal ears or extra head, or you've got gills, beast muscles, or a water sac, dolphin flippers, or dog fangs. And how do you graft on new parts? And here's the whole thing that, is going to tell you how you're going to go about doing that. And it's going to have, whether or not you successfully graft it on, or maybe your body rejects it, how much it costs to do that, what's the recovery time of that. Halfies, these are half humanoid races. The Halfies are interesting because they in essence take a lot of the different breeds that like Garnox and Moaners and Skullox, and now you can play half versions of them. So that just takes those ones and again, expands them out again. Half Garnock or half Moaner, half Skullox. It's really, really neat to be able to have these choices for your game. Here's Mutorg. This is one that was mentioned a long time ago. Mutoborgs, cyber mutants, augmented deviants, they're also known as. They're the best of both worlds as far as combat and excavation endeavors go. It says, in short, they are mutants who have, for whatever reason, been modified with enhanced with cybernetic implants. So there you go. You've got mutants with cybernetics. And then you've got nanoborgs, where you have nanites. Nanotechnology has been injected into them, and you're able to, kind of in essence, have cybernetics with a mutant. Very, very neat. I'm not exactly sure if it's a mutant. It could be definitely a person, but the nanotechnology has changed their bodies. Close quarters upgrades, sensory upgrades, the list goes on. Again, so much art. Now we've got one that I really enjoyed. And here's some of the more adult art. This Parasite right here. He definitely doesn't shy away from stuff that makes it kind of grotesque. Parasites, they're going to latch onto your body. How do they do that? Are they partially embedded? Are they a chest rider, a back rider, side mounted, or a necker? What type host body is it on? And then they can detach from these bodies and go to another body. So it's very much a changing character type, where you're looking for a different body. And that would be great to be able to get on that thing. What's the size of it? How easy is it to be concealed? Locomotion while detached from the host. Is it like bug legs or short tentacles? Does it have extra appendages? Absolutely amazing. What color it is? How does it deal with clothing and armor? Does it wear any apparel or anything like that? What type of attacks it may have on its own? And then we've got Plantoids. So these are also a huge favorite in Gamma World and other games like that. Mutant plant characters. And he not only did he take the Plantoid and say, here it is in the Mutant Epoch, because it's not in the hub rules. I'm going to take it here, I'm going to put it in here, but then I'm going to make you think a little bit differently about them. They're not just plants that come alive. He does different things with them, and that's the thing that I was not expecting. Like host inhabiting Plantoids. In essence, they come from a body. They come from a host. So it says they are basically a fist-sized root ball from which dozens of artery-like manipulator limbs and hundreds of thin, white-boring tendrils protrude. Countless variant species exist, with each evolving independently and after a few years become their own subspecies, complete with mutations. They're always on the lookout for better humanoid hosts. So that's, again, it's a vegetation. It's almost kind of like a parasite that's able to get into and inhabit a host. And that's why it kind of looks like this. And then you've got, it says here, like, here's the cadaver. What type body was it in its condition? Because it's going to take and pick up dead bodies and stuff and bring them to life. And then you've got the ones that we kind of think about. Identifiable base Plantoids. So, in essence, a botanical lineage that gives a player a better idea of what their specimen looks like. So, like, this is a carrot Plantoid. And you've got all the different types of vegetation and vegetables and fruits and trees and all sorts of stuff. Tobacco, tree, birch, tree fruit, potato, pumpkin, cotton. The list goes on and on. And then he did it. He did it right here. This is amazing. I mean, I can't help but smile at this. I'm seeing something I've always wanted to see. What does an asparagus plantoid look like? It looks like this, and this is its abilities. Aloe vera, bamboo, barley, carrot, cabbage. You don't get this in other games. This is so expansive. And some of these things might not do anything that's unique, but look, you've got art, and it's got a write-up about it. Corn, grapefruit, kale, herb, lettuce. It goes on and on. Marijuana, onion, pepper, pumpkin, potato, rose bush. What is a strawberry plant? What is it like? And oh, well, look at here. You know, it can grow strawberries off of it. Soybeans and spinach. Really impressive. I'm so glad that it's like this and it has pieces of art for all. You can use this if you don't play the Mutant Epoch. You can use that piece of art and say, this is what your tree birch looks like in this other game. He has done such a great service to the fans of post-apocalyptic games with just drawing this stuff out. Evergreen tree. It keeps going. I mean, that's the thing. This just keeps going. Here's another thing. Unspecified plant lineage. I don't know what it is. It's just vines. It's, it's creepers. It's got thorns. I don't know. It just kind of is a bundle of stuff. Leaves and who knows what. That's an interesting way of doing it. And then something I never even thought about. Cybernetic Plantoid variant. It's got cybernetics in it. That's different. And then it's going to have how do they feed, how they reproduce, what about their pregame cast. And it's going to break all one of those down. And then we've got the rebuilt. So the rebuilt are people who have taken like a great bodily injury and have been mechanically and electronically, like parts have been bolted, stitched, and cruelly adhered or inserted into them. So they are not this perfect cybernetic thing. They are people. It's like if RoboCop was made by a bunch of junk tech dudes down the street. That's what they are. That's what rebuilt is. Who's to blame for it? What the hell happened to you, man? How did you come to be like this? That's their suffering matrix and their locomotion, their arm and types, their vision and their speech. Can they reproduce? Unknown. Again, a lot of great art here. Tons of tables. And now you can play a robot. Self-aware robots. What type chassis? What gender ID and personality do they have? What's their arms like? What's their locomotion like? And that's another thing that's great. He's giving you this, and then he gives you art for a lot of those. Fantastic. Robot-specific optics. What type robot type head do you have? What's the CPU in the robot head? He breaks it all down. Very impressive. And I say he and other people have worked on this book, but a lot of this, again, like I said early on, a lot of this is William. He just, I don't know how he does it. It's very inspirational. And if all of us could just have this, what we could create. I mean, look at all these different types of things here that you can add on to your robot, your unique robot. It just doesn't stop. And for fans of the Mutant Epoch, we don't want it to stop. Just give me it all. Give me all these options. It may seem overwhelming to a lot of people, but give it to us. Give us things that we can use. Power sources. What type power source does it have? Outfitting unique robots. This guy's got a cowboy hat. I like the way he looks. Starting gear, spare power, relics. Who made this robot? Unknown maker. Maybe it was made by an artificial intelligence. Maybe a mad scientist. Or maybe it was a community effort. Everybody got around and said, you know what? We got to build a robot. A dig team, maybe. A hobbyist maybe made it. And then the Vat-Brain. This is the one that made me smile. It reminded me of Fallout. And one of the robots you fight in that game. Those games. What type brain does it have? So in essence, it's a living human brain in a vat of nutrient fluid connected to sensory and manipulatory devices which it can observe and interact with the outside world. It is a brain that's floating in fluid. And now we're going to break down what type brain it is. It's going to have its own stats. And now you've got to figure out like what type housing is it in? What container holds that brain? And here's the different types of containers. Shoddy plastic buckets, cracked glass dome, what that's going to mean for its endurance and details about it. And then look, here it is. He gives you a little drawing of what each one of those is. So helpful. To be able to write, be creative, and draw with his style. So envious of that. But Vat-Brain power supply. What's the fluid color? Is it yellow, green, red, blue? Who knows? Sensory parts. What's the chassis or donor body? What's the mechanical chassis type? Maybe it's a tracked frame or a mechanical spider. Cybernetic snake body. My goodness. Unique features of them. Maybe it's got a stereo system and music library in it. Maybe it's got a spinal cord still attached to it. That's going to change some stuff up. What's its origin story? So neat. This one here, it can just detach from its chassis, its body, and it walks off. You know, even that right there just shows that, you know, this thing's just trucking off. Little tiny piece of art, but they have so much action in them. And now we've gone through the character types, and we've broken into the expanded skills. More skills for your characters. Acrobatics, animal handler, armor, artist, carpentry, communications, cybernetics technician. And as if you know the Mutant Epoch, they're all very well detailed, and they are kind of like their own little system. There's no unified thing when it comes to skills. Escape artists, you're not chasing just a modifier, a +2, a +3. They're all unique. Feint, fencing, master fisher, hand signals. Very neat thing here for hand signals. Identification of personnel and beings, directions to comrades. It lets you know different ones. Maybe split up, down, listen up, cover me. I really like that. It gives people who doesn't really know what to do with hand signals, they say, oh yeah, that would be a good thing to know. Take target alive, kill them all. Herbalist, being able to make stuff. And they've got a whole bunch of, in essence, kind of potions, extracts, and toxins and stuff like that. Very neat to add that to the game. Historians, different types of those. Here's a Homesteader by Danny Seedhouse, another guy, buddy of his, that did a ton of stuff in this book, and he did a great job. Interrogation, different types of them. Non-lethal, beating, slow agony, merciless torture. This is that adult game that the Mutant Epoch is. Here's a junk doctor. Here's a killer. Here's gonna, you know, are you a killer? Yes, and this is what it's going to do for you. A leather worker. Here's like, you know, Morse code. There's one that I really like a lot too. Here's a performer. Seamanship. Sewing and smithing, trapping, streetwise. There's a bunch, obviously. And then, I mean, look, I'm not even sure we're halfway through this book, everybody. We've got mutations. We've got tons of mutations, and they're so. You know, this is another one of those things where people were just able to just create whatever they really wanted and be wild and just not be held back by anything. Just, you know, embrace your imagination. Compression and expansion, contact healing, bravery inducement, bonded twin. Maybe you can create a dimensional hole. Where does it take you? It's like you create something and then you've got to see it all the way through. It's nothing's left hanging. Dimensional retreat, dimensional blade, dome of energy. Just impressive. I mean, even knowing what this, you know, some stuff that was going to be in here, just finally seeing it is very cool for me. Yeah. Here is gas sacks, what they look like when they're not expanded, and this is what they look like full of gas. I love this big gaseous expansion. I love this one. That one's great too. Yeah, horde. You know, here's herbicidal tissues, illusion generation. How you do that? Irritation particles that come out of your throat. It just does not stop. I made this one, microfeelers, just in case you want to take a look at it. I think it's pretty neat. Microwave generation. If you like the microwave, you like cooking food in it, well, what if you want to cook your enemy with it? You could use the microwave. And that's a joke, by the way. I made this one, gas grenades, little organs that you pop off your body that grow off your body, and then enzymes and the acids in your stomach make them explosive. And yeah, I love this piece of art. Fantastic. So there it is. There's a ton of mutations. I mean, I could go. We can't go through them all. Like I said, this is already a long video. I can already feel it. I'm not even looking at the time, but I know it's a long video. Then he did this. Fantastic. All the different type of tentacle types. Well, this is what they look like. Here's a quill thrower. Here's a bone hook. Here's a dog jaws. A bone blade. Maybe there's a tiny hand on the end, or a sucker tentacle with no tip. You know, a mouth, a pincher, shock bulb, or nostrils. Just love that like that. Having that those little tiny things like that is great. Voice mimicry, web generation. Now we've got expanded minor mutations. These are not huge ones, but they can still be beneficial. Maybe you've got an extra belly button. Fertilizer urine. This helps plants grow. Your pee lets plants grow. Fantastic. And we're going to start just jumping here, guys. We've got some bad stuff here. Epilepsy. Maybe you've got tiny arms or growths, external organs. You don't want to get those caught on anything. Maybe your head's on your shoulders. You have no sense of direction, or you're night blind. So these are obviously bad things. So you don't really want to go for those. Then we've got plantoid mutations. You know, acidic sap, amber pellets, animal parts. I like that one. Allergy-inducing spores. I think they all have got that. Arid plant adaptation, armored husk. Look at the work that went into this. And I'm so glad that he was able to write who wrote what. I think that was, I'm very glad he added that to it. So you can see what people added to it, but you can see all the work that he obviously did. Digestive sap, earth-boring roots, exoskeleton, exploding puffballs. My gosh. I'm certain at this point, the only people that are sticking around are just fans of my channel and fans of the Mutant Epoch. I know this is long. I know I'm going through a lot of stuff here. And I'm going to have to start flipping through it like this just to get through this. Still, Plantoid Mutations. Water storage pods. Weaponized speargrass. And I think that's the thing, too, is this book, it's so long in the creation of it that it just kept on going and going. If it was going to be delayed, we'll work on it more and more and more. It's really quite incredible. Plant flaw mutations. Maybe they're delicious to herbivores. Maybe they have a green walker root ball, or they have mealy bugs, or they have periodic rooting. So I like this. So periodic rooting, and the rest of his team are like waving him goodbye. Well, sorry, you've periodically just fixed yourself into the ground for a certain amount of time. We'll see you later. We'll come back and pick you up when you're done. Maybe you got a bunch of slugs on you, or tent caterpillars. And then cybernetic implants. Here we go. Don't forget about these. There's a whole bunch of them with art and crazy stuff and really, really thinking outside the bubble. I don't think you're going to find more unique mutations, powers, cybernetics than in the Mutant Epoch. No doubt. If someone knows a game that has an even wilder, crazier, versions of these things, I would love to know it. Let me know down in the comments, because I just don't think it could be. Some of this stuff is so out there, but it's not out there to the point where you think it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, no, this stuff makes sense. Power leeching unit, power jack, snorkel, robotic serpentine body, very cool. Solar nutrient converter. And then there's a bunch of weapon arm sets. You've got a whole bunch of stuff here that you can add as an arm. Welding torch, wheel deployment. And then here we've got the expanded character outfitting, rapid fire character outfitting system. So a way for you to be able to outfit your character in a shorter amount of time. You're going to roll on these things like what you're carrying for gear, roll on footwear, your clothing, your armor. You can just go through this. You don't have to go and look look at all the equipment and pick it all out. You can just roll and see what you get. And I really enjoy that. Helmet, backup weapon. So easy to make new characters with that. New players, or you're creating an NPC. Fantastic. Ranged weapon. You roll it up, and it's a D100. I got a pump shotgun, or I got a heavy crossbow. Fantastic. And then, what type? Fire starting, assorted items and circumstance things. Maybe it's just little weird things, little things here and there. And then you got equipment packs. It's an alternative equipment system by Danny Seedhouse, where based off of pretty much how your character is, like if you're an escaped slave or impoverished or poor, like how many times you get to pick one of these different packs that has multiple items on it. Like the junk armor pack has junk armor, a junk shield, plus a junk helmet. So you could pick that, and you could, maybe if you've got more, it'll say like if you're well equipped, you get to pick 3 times on the adventure packs, or only 2 times on the advanced packs. Here's expanded and optional rules. So again, none of these you have to have. They are going to help you. Here's some new stuff here, like new post-apocalyptic equipment, like Molotov cocktails, things like that. Not very big section. And then it starts getting even wilder. And dimensional travel encounters, abilities and beans, dimensional beans. We've got that. And here's a bunch of different dimensional beans if you want to inject some real horror maybe into your Mutant Epoch game. So here's some new creatures in essence for that. And relics associated with dimensional beings, what they would be like. Ghost goggles, wraith fog canisters, dimensional travel, dimensional encounters, rolling up stuff on these void tables. What are you going to come across? Dimensional gateways. And then here's new combat options for suppression fire, blind firing, warning shots, intentional missings, jury-rigged limbs, laser weaponry stuff. It goes on and on. Scrap-built guns. Man, just reading this, you've got other games that kind of get your attention, and it's like, man, I got to get back into the Mutant Epoch. This is definitely a book that will just fuel you creatively to be like, man, I want to throw this stuff in my game. Custom-built black powder weapons. Here's learning, reading, writing, math, and swimming. Radiation effects on robots and androids. What does it do to them? Can they be healed from that? How does it affect each part of their body, like their CPU or their comms or their optics? Here's a setting on, a system here on encumbrance by Danny. Option number 1, ignore it. A lot of people do that. And then if you want to add different types of it, additional encumbrance rules to your game, this guy's really packing it on there. Expanded critical strike rules. So now you've got each individual thing, like brawling and martial arts, or blunt and crushing attacks, slash and edged, piercing and bullets, laser weapons, fire effects, electro attacks. Here's a section on broken bones and healing time. You can see we're getting into kind of like smaller sections, stuff to add in there to fill out those maybe rules, omissions that people maybe felt were, not the game was missing. Modified healing time for broken bones. If you've ever had a broken bone, you know that is very important. Here's if you want to buy implants and what they would be. Here's all the different types of implants. Their the implant availability chance, the purchase price, and where you can find them and which book. And then here's a whole bunch of other stuff to add to it. Lots of tables here at the end. Organic characters hacking into CPUs. Skill tier unlocks. You unlock some different bonuses on crossbow, bow, and sling masteries. You've got some different types of arrows and bows. That's pretty neat. And then, here's expanded relics. We've got weapon relics set 2. Bunch of great pieces of art. And here we go. These are the things you're going to find out there in the Mutant Epoch, in your excavation teams, out on your digs. This is some of the stuff that you may come across. Some great pieces of weaponry. The art that looks, that he did is fantastic. Maybe some industrial tools. An earth tiller. Different types of ammo. Toxic bullets or shotgun shells. Different types of grenades. Here's jump boots. I made that one. Hover gun. Different types of grenades. Electro grenade. Fireworks. Look at this. I was like, James Butler did this one. Good job, dude. Fireworks. Here's different types of them. Random firework colors. And then it goes over here. Sample special firework treasures. Random rocket burst effects. And then it shows you art for them. Sparklers, firecrackers, fountains. And what you can use, how you can use those in your game. How you can surprise, your enemies with them or set them up with part of traps and things like that. How it affects initiative. Very interesting. Different types of armor here in Relic Armor Set 2. And it shows you different types. Tire armor, rug armor, if you want to pull up the old shag rug that you find and put it on. And then look, this is the stuff I love that William does. It's all these bones and debris and shrubbery and rebar and concrete. That's what really makes it. Here's some really cool armor here. Different types, light combat armor, deep sea dive suits, exo armors. Miscellaneous relics as well. High-tech boots, drop boots, spider suit. Tree beds, armored tents. I know that Will likes to spend a lot of his time up in Canada, doing a lot of camping and sitting by the fire. So I can see how a lot of these stuff, and probably Danny's might be right there with him. And they're thinking of all these different types of neat camping supplies that you could use in the Mutant Epoch. MREs, climbing kits, universal cookers. I love this type stuff. I love this aspect of survival, and that's one thing I love about post-apocalyptic games is you just surviving. It brings that to the forefront more so, I think, than most games. Most types of genres is you need these things. Let's get these things. Let's survive. Let's make it. Everything becomes precious to you. Glow flares. Very cool. Medic relics. Let's see. I think I've got one here. Oh, no, where is it? The nano patch. I created that one. Pretty cool one, I think. You let me know what you think about them. Medical cybernetics. Computers, smartphones, and tablets. So we're starting to get into some more stuff that maybe we know a little bit more about. Tablets, laptop computers, normal computers. I love his art here for the different types and maybe how much they can hold and how powerful they are. AI traits by complexity. So it gets into more high-tech stuff here. Applications that they may have. Here's more different types of power sources. Robots. So this starts getting to a real interesting section here. So here's Robot Set 2. So these are actual things that you can throw into your game. Maybe you come across them and want to destroy them. Here's MAVs right here, micro air vehicles, similar to robots and drones, but they're so tiny. A lot of them are very, very small. They tell you how they're controlled, what they can do for you, and here's the matrix for them, their damage and strength and stats and stuff. Everything you can do with them, engaging in a select target, following a select target. Here's some different types of them, hummingbird or cockroach, very neat. And then we have a whole section here on drones, personal drones, and utility drones. These can be quite big, and you control them and do whatever you need to do. But look at all this writing. My gosh. Drone equipment. Here's augmented reality, stuff that we're dealing with now that we enjoy, and it's pretty neat. How does that factor into the Mutant Epoch? Things you may find. Palm-held viewer, or maybe it's a big mirror-like thing like that woman. Augmented reality projectors discovered in the ruins here, and different entries for them and descriptions of them. It just is very impressive. New vehicles. We've got all sorts of tanks and transports, helicopters and boats. And then we've got a lot of tables here for determining stuff. You need to roll up weapons, industrial tools, armors, fireworks. All these things are back here. Really cool little pieces of art to go along with it. Expanded weapon classification tables. I don't think I have to tell anybody that likes the Mutant Epoch that, this is right up our alley, guys. I mean, this is really amazing. And then here's some other stuff. Personality determination for characters, if you need to roll up a character, personality. And here's character old world ethnicity here. So if you want to be, Armenian or Chinese or Japanese. And then it says it here, Appendix 3, popsicle people. But this is a big section here. You want to roll up a completely new character, you can make a popsicle person. Why? Why did you end up in cryogenic tubes sleeping past the end of the world? And it's going to give you some stuff maybe you can roll up there and find out. And this is a big thing here and very neat. What's weird about it? Maybe you're a Vat-Brain now, or you have unstable mutations, or you've been radically altered, or you've been gene spliced. What was your pre-freeze occupation? That's interesting. Maybe it's going to give you some skills and stuff. When you figure that out. What's your starting gear? This, I think, is a very neat way to start the Mutant Epoch if you want, especially if you're fans of stuff like Fallout, the TV show, get more people into post-apocalyptic stuff. This is going to be really neat. Popsicle people, start off like that, and it gives you a drive and a question about how you were there. Very neat. Mostly useless old world occupations. That's fun. And there's a section here on property and estates. It kind of blows up with the Crossroads Region Gazetteer. You kind of use that together with this to find out about your farmers and your produce, your profit, and your production. Here's a section here on the standards of beauty in an ugly age, because some of these things are so, it just give you a write-up. This is kind of like an article you'd find in, like a magazine about the Mutant Epoch. Different languages you could roll up there, based off of different pre-game casts. Language spoken, real old world languages. You can roll that up if you just need something like that. And this is a bunch. We've got this great, graph paper type thing here for writing stuff. And then it's got character sheets for each of the new types of casts: Android, Cyborg. So they've got those all at the end. Probably be a good thing to pick up the PDF for those as well. And then look at this. Look at our index here. Thoroughly fleshed out index. That must have been an undertaking into itself. And then there we go. So there it is, the expansion rules. My goodness, what a long video. I have no clue how long this video's gone. I'm hoping that everything's going okay with it. But it's, I can't say much more about it. It really is an impressive book. Tons of options for the Mutant Epoch. I'm hoping that somebody is watching this. They're going to watch this video and say, what is this game? I'm going to go check out the original video that Brandon did. And then I'm going to go pick up the original, and I want to pick this up too. And then they're just going to delve into this and just be blown away by the amount of work, the options, the effort, everything about it, the art, and just really, bring this game to life. It's an easy system. It's, it really embraces that word gonzo, I think, more so than any game, without being too silly or pop culture-ish or anything like that. It has some of the most incredible mutations and cybernetics and character types that I've ever seen in a post-apocalyptic game. I submit that there is none more gonzo than this, and so far out there. With this many options and choices. Like I said, if you know one that's more, let me know about it, because I would love to see that. And things like this just make this book just absolutely sing. Now, are there anything negative to it? Yes, there's a couple negative things to it. With the amount of word count like this, there are a couple little typos here and there. Maybe a word or two are combined together. Maybe something's in bold where it shouldn't be, like on a table or something like that. It's unfortunate, but with the size of this, even me, when I've done editing on people's books, I can only imagine what it would be like to go through this book here. It reminds me much of like the Weird Frontiers, but everything here is it's a lot on every page. The words are so many. There's not a whole bunch of art and stuff like that, or the font is a little bit smaller. So yeah, there are some little things right here. Sometimes maybe it will refer to the hub rules as TME and then a number, or it will say hub and a number, and there's a little bit of inconsistency right there. And I hate to see that, and maybe that can be fixed down the road. But nothing I saw was terribly horrible. Like I said, there could be a typo here and there, but with a book of this size, there's almost no way you could catch some of these smaller things like that. So those things are always unfortunate, but it does not take away from this product whatsoever. But like I said, this is a book for Mutant Epoch fans. But hopefully, if you're not a Mutant Epoch fan, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see what it's about, and you'll become one. I think that is the focus of what I decided when I wanted to do this video. It was like, this is a book for Mutant Epoch fans. And if you're not a Mutant Epoch fan, then this is not going to be a book for you. But maybe it'll make you one. Maybe it'll make you go check out the original book. And that's what hopefully it did here. I know it's been long, it's been rambling at times, and it's tough to be able to try to get this all in one take. This is all one take. And if something messed up on it and I look back at it, I'd have to do it all over. So that's what I try to do. And yeah, just an outstanding achievement. Like I said, not only in post-apocalyptic games, in my opinion, but in just role-playing games in general, to give us this amount of content here. It doubles down on what it is. It doesn't try to take it back, and we're going to make this more, easier to digest for the masses. Nope, this is for all of us that know about William McAusland. We know about this game. We've picked up all the products, and this is the one we've been waiting for, and boy, did it deliver. So there it is. There is the expansion rules. Just a great achievement, I think. And I hope you've enjoyed this video if you've stayed here to the end to be able to hear me say that. And yeah, check out, I'll have a link. It should be around the video right here, around here pretty quick. So you can check out my original video. It's quite old, and I'm much younger then. And there it is, the expansion rules. Just really, really great book. And please check it out. Check out the links to the description. His website, too, I'll have that linked as well. You can go check out a lot of the other stuff that's out there. There is a ton of content for the Mutant Epoch that he has just done a great job, and other people have done and contributed to, too, because they're such fans of it. So thanks a lot for watching this, and I look forward to the next video with you. Thanks.